Okay, folks, welcome to another episode of the Freedom to Draw Unsolved Mysteries. I am your host, John. Today's case, we're dealing with an unexplained death. This unexplained death happened in 1992 on tax day, April 15th. And this is known as the Heaven's Angel case. This little baby was found in a trash bag, wrapped in a blanket of some sort, smothered. And it is in the news now. It has been solved, but the mystery of this case is why the DNA evidence has been linked back to these two people right here. Why in the world would they smother a 1 minute old baby? That's the mystery here, true believers. And we're going to delve into this case right now on today's episode of the Freedom to Draw Unsolved Mysteries. All right, this is a case of a Mississippi woman. The autopsy revealed that her baby was smothered the minute it came out. And we're going to draw the mother and the father today. We got a twofer. While we're drawing it, we're going to tell you a little bit about the case of these parents of a Mississippi newborn charged with murder 30 years after the baby was found in a dumpster behind a pizza shop. The autopsy shows there was smothering going on. But a lawyer of this Louisiana mother says the baby was a stillborn and that it was not a crime. There was no crime. A Mississippi couple, which you see here, was arrested recently, more than 30 years after their newborn baby girl was found dead in a Mississippi dumpster. They had placed the baby in a garbage bag with other trash, and the other trash had touched DNA of both these guys on it. Inga, Johansen, Carriere, and Andrew Carriere II, both 50, were charged with first-degree murder in this cold case, death of an unnamed infant whose headstone reads Heaven's Angel. So that was the name of the baby that didn't survive. And if looks tell the tale, I mean, come on. I don't try not to make judgments on this show, but these two got hit with the ugly stick, I'll tell you that much. Now, just because you're ugly don't mean you're a murderer. Advancements in the DNA technology helped police identify this couple who were living in Louisiana. As suspects decades after the baby's body was found, police in Picayune, Mississippi announced the arrest on March 9th. The baby was found by a farmer. You know how farmers, they have ingenuity. They go around picking through dumpsters for day olds. Day olds are stuff that businesses throw away that they can't sell to the public, but they're perfectly fine. That's all this guy was doing. They call it dumpster diving. He was dumpster diving for day old food for his animals. And he happened to find a bag of garbage, and he looked in the bag of garbage. There he found what he said at first was a doll. He said to himself, this has got to be a doll. And then upon further examination, he found out that it was not a doll at all. That was human flesh, and it was a baby. He immediately reported this to the authorities. So this farmer did the right thing, of course. It's what anybody would do in a situation like this. The case dates back to April 1992 when a farmer found a fully developed newborn girl wrapped in a towel stuffed in trash bags behind what is now a defunct pizzeria in Picayune, close to the Louisiana border, say police. So she was wrapped in a towel. The autopsy showed the baby was probably born that morning, about 3 weeks premature, and lived a few minutes before being smothered, police say. That is what the autopsy revealed, guys, that it was smothered. The evidence speaks for itself, but the lawyer for this lady says otherwise. The state medical examiner ruled the case a homicide, and the local police department preserved the collected evidence and crime scene photos for decades after the case went cold. The police did their due diligence in this case. They kept evidence from 30 plus years ago. And I watched the original news pieces on this and news pieces from just recently. And they all say that it's lucky that the police kept this evidence, because a lot of police departments will destroy evidence. I think it's like they cut it off like 25 years plus, they're going to destroy it. So give the police a pat on the back for keeping this case alive for the family members, for the victims, for the people that never got to enjoy this baby. Someone smothered it, as the autopsy shows. The mystery is, why on earth would you do that to a baby? And is this person guilty, or was it a stillborn, like the lawyers are trying to say, and she is not guilty? It's still, what are you doing behind a pizzeria joint with a baby? Why aren't you in a hospital? That's my question. Like I said, I just draw them. I don't solve them. I'm an amateur. I'm not a detective. I'm just asking what any normal person would ask. Why are you behind a pizzeria place with a baby that has just been born? Seems fishy to me. The case was reopened in 2021 and included a multi-state investigation with a series of events that unfolded over the last 2 years, which ended with the Carriere's arrests in late February and early March, according to police. Paul Fleming, who's been a Jefferson Parish, Louisiana public defender since the mid-90s, is representing Inga, Johansen, Carriere. Now, folks, if this lady is guilty, this is a particularly heinous crime, and it does carry the weight of the death penalty with it. The mystery is why and how did this baby end up in a towel in a dumpster? I think that's what everybody wants to know. That's the question on everybody's mind. Inga's lawyer told investigators his understanding, though their preliminary investigation, is that the baby was a stillborn, which means it's not considered a newborn or a baby, so the crime of murder can't happen since it's legally not a person. He said that they will have to wait for the autopsy report, which won't be released to the defense until after the indictment, and that could take months. Then he wants an independent pathologist to remove the report. So the jury is still out. But it seems very fishy to me, the whole situation. Why didn't they come forward after 30 years if there's nothing wrong here, nothing to see here? Where have they been for 30 years? Why didn't they come around and say, if you didn't do anything illegal, what do you got to hide? That's what any normal person would ask. This is not normal, these circumstances here. We've only seen a couple cases this old, but not that many, says her lawyer, Fleming. DNA wasn't that prevalent back in the 90s. It was around, but it was a new science. It wasn't done on a regular basis and took weeks to come back with results. The age of the case will be problematic to prosecute and problematic to defend. Well, I think I speak for a lot of people where I don't really feel sorry for these people. They did not speak up in 30 years about this. Something is illegal. That's all I gotta say. Heaven's Angel was the baby's name. They laid her to rest, which I drew here. The placard reads Heaven's Angel. $1992. I think I was 12, 13 years old. Long time ago. After Picayune police reopened the case, investigators tracked down the baby's burial plot to the Salem community using tips from retired officers. We were advised that a local church donated the plot and its members collected money for the headstone, which you see right here. Picayune police said in a statement, in May 2021, a headstone was found at Lee's Chapel Baptist Church with the headstone that read Heaven's Angel, April 15th, 1992 to April 15th, 1992. So it was only a couple minutes old. It's still a life, in my opinion. These guys are found guilty. They're in a whole heck of a lot of trouble. This was confirmed by the coroner that the headstone and the burial was the same baby, same person. Using the latest advances in DNA technology, which has led to a recent boom in cold case clearances, and you've probably seen me have a recent boom on these cases. Law enforcement identified the couple as potential subjects. I would like to know what they have been doing for these 30 plus years. Have they been involved in more illegal stuff? More peculiar things? Stuff that doesn't add up? Like this case? The Carriers were living in Louisiana by the August of 2021. So the Louisiana State Police joined the investigation and obtained the DNA samples. Through investigative means, detectives were able to identify the infant's parents as the 50-year-old Andrew Carriere and 50-year-old Inga Johansen Carriere, who were living in Louisiana at the time of the death, Louisiana police said. Arrest warrants were issued for the couple in Louisiana, and Inga Johansen was arrested on February 28th at her home in Avondale, Louisiana. And Andrew was arrested in Galliano, Louisiana on March 9th. So, of course, they weren't together. Weren't even living together anymore. That's a big surprise. That doesn't surprise me at all. They are both being held at Jefferson Parish Correctional Facility without bond after being extradited from Mississippi, according to jail records. Fleming, the lawyer, didn't immediately respond to investigators' requests for comments. And when this case originally came out, investigators were baffled. They had a baby and some trash and a towel, and that's about it. And they were looking for anybody that said they were with child and about expecting, and suddenly the baby never appeared. That's the only thing they could look for back then. They didn't have the DNA stuff. It was just being born, the DNA stuff. So they did not have that kind of technology to fall back on. So they were just looking for women in the area of Picayune that said that they were having a baby and never produced a baby, because that's what had happened here. That's what they were looking for. And of course, that's hard to find, no matter where you are. They could have skipped town. They could have done a lot of things. They probably did skip town. They probably weren't. We're not sticking around here to see what happens. No, that's probably because they're guilty. I'm not completely condemning them, but a lot of evidence points to their guilt in this case. And if they get proven guilty, they're in a whole heck of a lot of trouble. Both of them. I just find it weird that they're by a dumpster and she's having a baby. I don't understand that. Who does that? Apparently these two do it. That's who. This has been an unsolved mystery for 30 plus years, guys. They were looking for suspects when I was in junior high. That's how old I am. But anyway, guys, this wraps up another episode here, and this is the Heaven's Angel episode, guys. This is a cold case that has just been solved. It's in the news. You've probably seen it. This is another case down, guys. True believers. This is the Freedom to Draw Unsolved Mysteries. I'm John. And this case has been solved, but if you have any information on any of the cases that you see here, please give these places a call. Go online, check them out. There's also probably links to go to certain areas. Any of the cases that you've ever seen on this channel, go on these places and give any tips that you have. Any tips are appreciated. And any comments on this channel are appreciated too, guys. We read them all. True believers, this is another episode down, another case drawn. Peace out.